Lead together, embrace change, enhance everyone's journey. The 3 core principles of SmartStop, a leader in self-storage real estate across North America, reinforce why we're proud to bring you SheEO Lead-In, the podcast featuring curated conversations with powerful women sharing their impactful wisdom. It's a self-knowledge, self-discovery, and self-preneurship audio storage vault created by and for women. SmartStop's presentation of SheEO Lead-In begins right now.
Have you ever felt that you as a woman may not appear to measure up when you see incredible women in strong roles? You may be surprised when hearing from women in these positions and how we all share many of the same challenges. Thank you for joining us for the SheEO Leading-In podcast with Rebecca Jones as we share the journeys of women.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Jones, your host of SheEO Lead-In. We are on an exploration together to discover more about the personal journeys of incredible women in both career and life. We all have paths to share that sometimes take incredible turns, deep resilience, and courage to navigate. My hopes are that the challenges shared here encourage women to take leaps of faith and growth when a journey feels too difficult or unachievable. There is great strength deep within each one of us. These stories are meant to share the ways strong women have taken their dreams to strive and thrive to new heights, despite their sometimes rocky paths, and found a way to lead in.
And I'm Kimberly King. I am filling in for the fabulous Rebecca Jones today on her SheEO Lead-In podcast. And I have to say, I love sitting in this seat because I have met the most incredible women in San Diego. And we're about to meet another incredible woman, Natalie Spiro, the CEO and founder of Drum Cafe North America. And I'm so excited. I've been seeing your videos, but I really want to know what the full picture is of what this Drum Cafe North America is. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. I so appreciate it.
Yes, you just gave me a couple of terms, leadership tenets, from collaboration to communication to courage and being able to hear every voice in the room. Mm-hmm. You've worked with Fortune 500 companies. Tell me, what do you do?
What do I do? It's a great question. Here's the elevator pitch.
Yes,
is essentially, we go into organizations with drums in tow, whether it's drums or other musical instruments, and essentially through a kind of bespoke program, whether we use drums or boom whackers or body percussion or whatever we use, let's call it rhythm. Mm-hmm. We essentially build teams. So we help teams to collaborate together, to have their voices heard, to step into confidence and courage, mm-hmm. to get that sense of psychological safety, to feel that they're part of a one. So kind of better together, mm-hmm. right? Stronger together. Mostly companies bring me in because the teams are disparate and they want to bring people together in a way that's kind of exciting and motivating and inspiring.
You know what? I just had this thought because when you're saying the collaboration, it's usually when they're desperate. Do you know the show Bar Rescue? I don't know if you've ever seen
actually.
This. And I might be going way out on a limb, but he comes in and he fixes. He's a fixer.
Right.
And you are a fixer or a closer, maybe, right? Maybe that's a better analogy. So we can edit that part out. But it reminds me, and I love the fact that you've chosen the drum. Tell me the symbolization of what that means.
Okay, great. I'm so glad you actually picked up on that because it could be anything, right?
Right.
And I'm originally from Johannesburg, South Africa. I grew up in South Africa, huge tribal country. Africa's a tribal continent. And the drums that I use are from West Africa, from Guinea and Burkina Faso and Ghana. And essentially it's called a djembe drum. Looks like almost like an egg timer with goat skin on top of it. And I have to just say that no goat is ever killed just to make the instrument. Obviously, the tribes eat the meat, use the milk, and then obviously use the whole animal. So the skins are made, are used for the actual drum. Mm-hmm. But because I come from a country that is that tribal, really, it helped to know that I could bring some of my roots, my heritage, into American boardrooms, so to speak.
Right.
And, when I first started this business, people said to me, "Are you out of your mind? Like, who is ever going to want to do this?"
Right.
And it's funny because my first client was Motorola.
Oh.
And it's actually an interesting story if you want me to share it.
Yeah, I would love to hear it.
I immigrated to the US in 2000, and my background is really in, I'm an organizational psychologist. I have an MBA. So my whole passion in life was really around people and business and bringing the two together. And I'm definitely a serial entrepreneur. So, I tried my stint inside of companies, and I just wasn't in my happy place. So I love being creative and innovative and doing things on my own and building things, if I could say that. Mm-hmm. And so I came to America in 2000, and very shortly after I arrived, I was invited to a party. And at this party, I met this woman. Her name was Laura Lozano. And she was an SVP at Motorola. And we got chatting. And you got to remember, I had no idea that this was even going to be a business. It had started in South Africa with a friend of mine, Warren Lieberman, who actually had a show called Drumstruck, which is like an interactive stomp, if you will. So everyone in the audience had a drum, and it was an interactive, engaging show. Wow. And, when I was immigrating, he said to me, "Wow, you've got to take this into corporations, because you have the organizational, psychology experience and the MBA, and you've worked for big companies in South Africa. PricewaterhouseCoopers was one of them. And like, you should really, take it there." And I was like, the idea just was amazing. My hair stood up on my arms, and I thought, what a cool thing. And, anyway, so, I don't know how many people believe this, but I'm very firmly a believer that my higher wisdom guides me to where I need to go. Mm-hmm. And I got to doing this business almost like somebody was behind me, like a tribe of Kenyan Maasai warriors were behind me, like throwing little pebbles in front of my feet. So I went to this party. I met Laura Lozano. We got talking. I had just watched a video of Drumstruck. And I just started riffing with Laura and telling her all. She said, "What are you going to do in this country?" And I said, "Well," and I started talking and she said, I've got a meeting for 100 regional managers of mine in Vegas, at the Stratosphere in Vegas. I'm not going to hire a keynote speaker. I want you.
Wow.
And I said, "Oh, that is fantastic." Had no idea what I was going to do. Nothing.
Oh my gosh.
Got home that night. It was like 11:30. Called Warren in South Africa. It was his morning. And I said, I've got to come to South Africa. You need to train me on what you do in this show, because I've just landed Motorola as my first client and I don't even know what I'm doing. And so everything kind of followed after that. I booked a flight, got to South Africa, learned enough on the djembe drum to be able to stand up and facilitate, because to facilitate is what I do. Primarily I wouldn't consider myself a drummer per se. And I went to one of our farmers markets, like similar to what a farmers market is here. Mm-hmm. I met a Afrikaans speaking guy who had a whole bunch of these djembe drums that he'd brought in from Ghana. And I picked 100 and some stage gear, and he shipped them for me to San Diego.
Wow.
I had a girlfriend of mine clear them for me because I didn't even have a work visa at that point.
Oh my gosh.
And so she cleared the drums for me, and I flew Warren in. Just before that had happened, another friend of mine took me to a art gallery opening in San Diego, and it was a African art gallery opening. And as I walked in, there were like 3 djembe players, all from Guinea, West Africa. And I said, okay, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. And, really enjoyed the art gallery, had a meeting with these 3 guys, brought Warren in from South Africa. We, had a number of rehearsals, and we packed the drums in a U-Haul, drove to Vegas, and that's how everything started.
How amazing that it all aligned for you. Literally, my favorite line that you said was when you called Warren and said, I just landed Motorola. I'm like,
Right.
who does that? You did.
Yeah.
How amazing. And, I love that you are, you see the show, but it spoke to you, especially from where you're from in South Africa. But I love that you've incorporated all of that and really your passion. The other thing you said is you came from the corporate world. So it's not like, so you've been in both worlds.
Oh, yeah.
But your passion has led you, hasn't it?
Totally. It was totally heart and passion led.
Yeah.
And I mean, for the amount of times and through a lot of, let me tell you, there were ups and downs in this business through, the 2008 housing crash.
Yes.
When all companies, I had a big bank, I think it was Wells Fargo, literally cancel 1,000-person event.
Oh my gosh.
And, pretty much hit rock bottom after that for a while, then got moving again, had a different group of partners here, there, and everywhere. And, the partnerships didn't work out well. And I stuck with it. And then obviously in COVID, before COVID, I had scaled my business to, way over $1 million. And I was like, wow, this is something like you can love what you do and make money out of it, because if you love what you do, the money will come. And I heard that so many times, and it sounds almost like trite, but in actual fact, it's so true. And I think that if you are passionate and you feel jazzed and energized about, getting up every day and making a difference and doing the closing and, carrying the drums. I did everything in this business from start to finish. I love what I do. And when I lost it during COVID, which was, I really lost my whole business. I had to shut down all my warehouses and everything. It was quite devastating, actually. And I had to really pivot and do other things. But then when things started changing in around end of 22, 23, I brought it all back and said, I'm going back to this because I believe in it. I believe more than ever now, with the world where it is and where this country is where it is, that rhythm is what's going to connect people's hearts. And when people are connected in that way, not just cognitively, but when they connect through this ancestral, wisdom of rhythm, that's when, walls start breaking down, silos bust, people start talking to each other, people start creating, being innovative. The CEO sits next to the person who makes tea and are sharing an experience together. So there's no such thing as this hierarchical, line as there would be in a corporation. And what's amazing is that every single event I've ever done, and I have a great story I would love to share.
Please.
But people kind of think, what am I going to do next time to top this? Because I don't know what we're going to do to top this.
Yes, and that I love it. I want you to share this story, but I do, I think about the art of the pivot, which is what you lived through in the 2008. But there is another character, maybe perhaps you've heard of her, the unsinkable Molly Brown. And that is you too, because yes, we all top and bottom. You're a $1 million company, but your resilience speaks volumes. So
true. I don't know Molly Brown, and maybe it's part of old American kind of, okay. Yeah. So I didn't grow up on that, but I really, resilience is for me what I kind of teach leaders. Like if you can be vulnerable and you can have grit, because you're going to need grit, because being an entrepreneur is a lonely place to be unless you're in a community of entrepreneurs.
Good point.
And it's a very lonely place to be. And you need the grit and you need the resilience, because you are going to have shifts and changes in your business. And people who are, kind of fixed mindset are not going to make it through those changes. You have to be growth mindset. You have to, I remember my father always said to me, you need to be like a reed that sways in the river, because with the tides, if you're a rock, you'll be you'll be carved away ultimately through the tide, but a reed will always sway with the tide.
I love that.
And so it's that flexibility. You know, he was a serial entrepreneur, is still, but he's 85 now. So
bless his heart. But that was like a role model for you.
It was a great lesson for me. It was a great lesson for me. Yeah.
I mean, so I love your stories. And so I don't know, because you have, come so far. I love that was your first client and that you were just kind of piecing it together. You didn't know what you didn't know. Yeah. But again, that resilience and just, like, hey, let's try this out and see what happens with this. What was your big picture when you look back at it? How has it changed from then to now?
I think it's changed in the sense that I have grown individually. I think it's through my own self-awareness, my own self-management, my own kind of, I guess my own development of my EQ, right? My emotional intelligence, and where that's taken me. I have grown as a human and have found my empathy and have found compassion, whereas before I think my ego drove the car. Now I feel like my spirit's in the driver's seat. And I have much more faith and trust, and I build relationships because that's what it's about. It's about, it's not a even though it's a transactional experience. I have clients that have changed companies, 5 or 6 times, and have taken me to each company with them because of the experience that they had. I've had companies, a guy I remember from Intel, Terry Scolzo. And, he said to me, he's retiring now. And he was from Intel. He was in the marketing division. He hired me. And he said to me, Natalie, if I can tell you one thing, he said, your program, what you delivered and the energy you created for my team, I still remember today. And it bears testament to kind of who you are as an individual. And the people that you surround yourself with, because that's really important. My drummers are just beautiful humans. They are professional drummers. They're multicultural, and they bring all of that to bear. That diversity comes into the room, and it's not just once. It's not one dimensional.
And that's beautiful. And when we come back, I have to take a quick break, but I want you to talk to me about, stepping into that space. What does that look like? So we'll get to that in just a moment. But right now we're going to take a quick Smart Stop to talk about our sponsor today, which is SmartStop Self Storage.
SmartStop knows the winning connection is when we elevate success together. SmartStop Self Storage, a California company with nearly 200 properties and over 15 million square feet of rentable storage in the US and Canada, is committed to positively impacting the communities we serve on the national and local level. By aligning our core principles of leading together, embracing change, and enhancing everyone's journey with local initiatives focused on education, health, and social welfare, we all elevate together. Through financial and strategic partnerships with nonprofits and prestigious organizations such as Cloudcast Media, Arrow McLaren IndyCar, Breast Cancer Research Foundation, Wounded Warrior Project, USC Athletics, the Brampton Steelheads, MMA fighters and boxers, and other unique athletes, we aim to foster a sense of unity and pride within the communities we serve, creating a shared identity and generating a positive atmosphere. To learn more about our core values, our locations, and career opportunities, please visit us at smartstopselfstorage.com. SmartStop, elevating success together.
Natalie, thank you. I'm loving this energy that is coming off today, and I've never been to this, so I'm just imagining all with this drum.
I'm going to invite you.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. Tell me, what is it like? So we're here. We're with Motorola or whomever the big corporation is.
Yeah.
Do you have is it usually 100 or what? How many people are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean, we do anywhere from 20 people, which is very intimate, up to 5,000 people.
Wow.
So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, we were, I did Cisco kind of a few years ago. It was their EMEA division, and we had 4,000 people in the audience.
Wow.
So I've done, 5,000. In fact, in South Africa, we did a show for like 35,000 people.
Oh my gosh.
But how it happens, how it unfolds, which is kind of my signature process, if you will, is that we typically like to start with, firstly, it's a surprise for every participant.
So they don't have any idea.
They don't know what's going to happen, right? So they have all these preconceptions and these assumptions about, they've been to a million conferences and, we're going to walk in and there'll be breakfast outside, and then we walk in and then there'll be maybe a video, or someone will come on stage and start speaking and giving us the house rules and things like that. And what I wanted to do was kind of really disrupt that, because I want to get them out of their head and I want to get them into their heart space straight away.
Nice.
And if you do that, people open up,
Right.
almost like a flower,
Right.
to what they're about to receive for the rest of the time they spend. So the doors are closed. We kind of, let's say our kickoff is at 9. We break into this amazing West African Afro-Cuban rhythm.
Oh, cool.
We fling open those conference doors. People like walk in.
Have
They see
no idea what they're about to
They
walk
see a
into.
drum on every chair and they're like, whoa, what's about to happen here?
Oh.
And some people kind of saunter in. You can tell people's personalities, introvert versus extrovert. Do they speak up in meetings? Do they hold back?
Right.
And you see them kind of, some lag back, some run to the front and start a conga line. Others pick up their drum and start banging and dancing, and others just sit down and finish their coffee. But we play them all in, and when they're all in, I would step forward, or one of my facilitators, because I've trained up a number of different facilitators, so I'm not always on stage. But a facilitator will stand forward and start the program. And the program really starts off with around 10 to 15 minutes of complete nonverbal communication. But everybody in the audience knows exactly what they have to do by the end of that 15 minutes. So it's like a series of learning blocks that we build. So if I'm counting down 4, 3, 2, 1, it means I'm going to cut stop you and you don't touch your drum. If I'm counting up 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm asking you to get back into play. And, people learn these different rules
Without even
with
having to say
no
anything.
language.
Wow.
So that's why rhythm is really a universal language. You don't actually have to, speak to know to work with rhythm. That's how they did it in tribal Africa. The shepherds would speak to each other with a drum from hilltop to hilltop, calling each other in and have a conversation, what we call a call and response, on their drum.
Wow.
So, a lot of those concepts we bring into the conferences, but it's done in a way that it's not, it's not kind of this woo-woo, drum on the beach type thing. It's not that kind of a drum circle. It weaves a lot of all the corporate messaging that the company wants to have their people remember. And they remember it because it's experiential. They feel it not only in their bodies, but they feel it, in their souls, their hearts, their fingertips.
Well, and it's I love that it's cultural. It's a lesson in history too. And you're learning, but you're also learning, like you said, that corporate language. I love that you brought in EQ, because that is something that we never talked about before. But you do have to have the heart. You have to have that compassion and emotion. I can't imagine how exciting, as you say, you've just flipped the script on what a conference is that we've been all going to all these years, and now you've disrupted what they think. So do you have some favorite stories of, I'm sure you have a ton of them. I don't know if anything.
Gosh, I have a million stories. I can share 2 quick stories of one is actually about about resilience, and I'm going to say this with utmost humility. Okay, I don't want this to sound like it comes from any ego. But Google sent me to Kenya to do an event for their Sub-Saharan Africa division, and I had ordered drums from Africa, and they got stuck in customs.
Oh no!
And I was in Chicago when I found that out. And now you can imagine, it's Google, and I was like, wow, I need to figure this out.
Right.
So I took drumsticks and these other boom whackers on the plane just in case the drums didn't come through. Anyway, I got to Nairobi, and I got to the hotel, which was like the spa kind of resort, a little bit outside of Nairobi. And I started speaking to the driver, to the guys behind the desk, like, where can I find, I think there were 45 people. I need 45 drums. So they said, listen, we don't have djembes here, but we do have other drums. I said, great, find me, just where do I go? Is there a cultural center here? Is there a music center? Anyway, to cut a long story short, I eventually found 45 drums.
Oh my gosh.
These guys arrived, literally the morning of the event to this beautiful spa, and they pulled out all the drums. And in order to tighten the skins of the drum, they have to burn them, right? So they burn the ridges and then they tighten the strings to tighten the skin. And they built a fire in the like the middle of this resort, like this parking lot. And I was like, guys, we got to get this done. The client is coming back from this golfing morning. Anyway, we got everything in. We got it like into a room. The client came back. I said to them, listen, the drums didn't arrive, but I have organized the drums. We've got drums. And so don't worry, I will refund you your money for the drums, because they were going to be, they were going to take them home with them. And myself and my one drummer, Teo from Seattle, put on, it's like we pulled every piece of energy out of us, right? We were jet lagged, but we pulled every single piece of energy, and we gave the most amazing program to these people, that the woman from Google came up to me afterwards and she said, listen, I don't care when these drums are, we want the drums. When they come out of customs, please have them delivered to our Google offices in Nairobi. We're going to take them. And I was like, wow, that is to me, if leaders could show that kind of growth mindset, that kind of, resilience, grit under stress, a calmness in a way under stress, that then you and still deliver an excellent product to your customer. That's what you want from your team,
right? You
want to demonstrate that so your team can really embrace that and embody that.
And absolutely, and there's I guess we as perfectionist. I think so many people think everything has to be perfect all the time. And guess what? It's not. But again, that art of the pivot, and then recognizing that and just being really truthful and saying, well, okay, that's not going to work today, but now this will. And look at what a success.
And it was a huge success. And I've now done Google maybe 14 or 15 times. So it was incredible. Another story I just want to share, which I found to be something, it really talks to the power of of our programming. It was Qualcomm. It was 12 years ago. I remember, we're not on the cheap side of, our service is not the cheaper side. It's more on the expensive side. And there are a lot of variables because I have, professional world-class drummers. We bring the drums for everybody. It's a huge logistical organization. The program has to be designed, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, Qualcomm wanted to do it for 600 people. They had a new CEO come on board, one of their divisions. And she was very quiet, the CEO. And the marketing person is the one that wanted to hire me. And she said, listen, Natalie, you've got to come to one of our strategic meetings because I need you to convince these people. I know it's going to be the best thing for us. And so I went into Qualcomm, and I remember sitting at this big boardroom table with a whole C-suite, and they were flying questions or shouting questions at me, and I was just answering all the questions or whatever. Anyway, at the end, the CFO Mike said to me, I'm still not 100% sure. And I said, you know what, Mike, here's the deal. If you don't love this program after I deliver it, I will give you your money back.
Wow.
There and then I'll sign your check back. He said, okay, nothing to lose,
what
right?
What do you say to that?
Nothing to lose. So he was like, yes, absolutely, I'll do it. I said, great. We did the event, and it was like a beach theme. So it was in somewhere in Pacific Beach. I think it was is it the Paradise Hotel?
The Resort.
You know what I'm talking about, the Paradise Resort.
About.
And they were inside a conference room, but they were sitting on beach chairs. They had board shorts on with, caps on and whatever. We did this program. And afterwards, I could see while I was on stage, Mike was at the front and he was standing on his beach chair with his drum under his arm and his hat was turned the other way around and he was bashing his drum.
Oh my gosh.
And anyway, it was finished and I went up to him afterwards and I said, "So Mike, how was it?" I said, "Do you want your check back?" He said, "Are you kidding?" He said, "This was the most amazing experience I've ever had." Anyway, so they loved it. And it just bears testimony to the power of this program.
And you talk about that power, the rhythm, but I would imagine if you're in the most dysfunctional organization and everybody's, incongruent in their thought space, but just to hit a drum, like, have they broken them? I hope they haven't. But
a lot of people have broken, they hit it so hard because they want the primal kind of nature of, or just the primal behavior of bashing a drum is so vividly there.
Right.
I remember Steve Ballmer, who was the head of Microsoft. He was on stage in one of my T-shirts with my drum smashing. I mean, my drum was, an expensive drum.
Right.
And he was pounding on this drum.
Were you dying? Wait,
Thank you, Lord, that this was it was cow skin and not goat, because his hand would have gone straight through.
Right.
But I've had people, there are plenty drums that break, but we have them reheaded. We have, we get skins from Africa and elsewhere. So
I just love how authentic it is and how genuine and just, life-changing. Last question I would want to ask you about is specifically for women, because we're on the SheEO show today where we are empowering. What would you say to women that maybe haven't even thought about something like these drums and what you offer?
What's so interesting is that it's mostly women who hire me.
Really?
Yeah. They tend to, a lot of the women kind of feel that the certain men in certain industries, I typically get engineers are never going to love this. And I'm I can tell you 20 engineering companies I've worked with where, I had a CEO from ExxonMobil out in the front of all the people, because the room is set up like amphitheater style, right?
Okay.
He was right at the front with his shirt off and his tie around his head doing a belly dance. And so for women, I feel like I've done many events for just women. And what's so powerful about that is them finding their own voice, their voice on the drum, them finding their voice with each other, them collaborating together, because a lot of times women typically are not helpful to other women.
Right.
And what this does is it shows them that we can, if we do this together, we will go further. Like my favorite African quote is, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run together.
Oh, I love that.
And that's really what I get out of the woman experience.
Well, and you did talk about that early on, about the community.
Yes.
And team building.
Yes, it builds that particular community of women.
And I think sometimes maybe if women don't have the team, mindset, maybe from playing on sports and playing on a team or something, this kind of does that, it sounds like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
Wow, I am enlightened, and I can't wait to go to one of your conferences. And so I
will definitely invite you, I promise.
And I love your stories because I'm living there with you, as you're just walking in and really everybody's playing their drums. And Natalie, thank you very much for your time today and for enlightening all of us.
And thank you for the wonderful questions.
Yes. Where can people find out more about the Drum Cafe North America?
So obviously my website at www.drumcafenorthamerica.com. They can email me at natalie@drumcafenorthamerica.com. My phone, which is on me all the time, is 858-583-1960. And I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram. I will soon be on Pinterest.
Good.
And what's the other one? Facebook. I'm on all of them. So
I saw some of the video from probably on LinkedIn, I thought. And it is really, it just brings you in because it's something that we just don't always think about. So
and I'm now actually on ChatGPT, funny enough.
Are you? Oh, really?
Two people have already told me that they found me on ChatGPT.
Oh my gosh.
Which I thought, kudos to my marketing team. That's awesome.
Right. So growing and ever available to make someone's life amazing.
Yes,
right?
to make, I really want event planners to be heroes, because it takes so much to organize an event. People don't even know the half of it. And it's to have people walk away with that kind of a feeling is something, and it's the event planners and their teams that put it together.
I'm just thinking in the future, maybe wedding parties, or maybe you're already there with that, just again, that's team building too. And just,
definitely,
especially if the in-laws and
I do weddings, I do bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs, I do schools, I do, assemblies and teachers, I do everything.
Well, I love the historic part of it too, and that you're really teaching, but boy, oh boy, your passion is just blasting right through the mic here. So
thank you.
Yeah, Natalie, thank you so much, and I can't wait to visit you on the scene with
Absolutely.
your drums.
It'll be soon.
Good.
Kimberly, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now that was powerful. We hope you've been lifted and encouraged by today's inspiring voice. Always remember that life doesn't look exactly the same for each one of us. Never stop dreaming, striving, and thriving. In future episodes, we look forward to bringing you powerful stories from amazing women who learned how to lead in to challenges. Thank you for listening and being part of our community with SheEO host, Rebecca Jones.
The incredible curated SheEO conversation you just enjoyed was brought to you by SmartStop, a leader in self-storage real estate and a company that upholds its core principles of leading together, embracing change, and enhancing everyone's journey. To learn more about SmartStop, please visit smartstopselfstorage.com.
Cloudcast Media.